get on a plane, you get over there, and they're like, explain it. And then they'll debate it. That's like, it's totally different.
Sorry, devil's advocate. Should being a mega donor, I mean, I guess I get your point of view, but couldn't it also just be like, no, we're not going to be biased just because a person donated money. We're not going to just answer the phone whenever he called.
You think I was
hold on, pause it. There we go.
Hero.
Credit to that guy, devil's advocate. You know what? You're not being the devil's advocate. You're actually being the advocate for hundreds of millions of Americans who don't have $1 billion.
In this video, Sam Seder and Emma Vigeland of the Majority Report take a look at a billionaire complaining. And, instantly a million violins come out to play for the poor billionaire. But he's talking about how now suddenly he has access to the Trump administration in a way that he never did with the Biden administration. And Sam Seder and Emma Vigeland pick it apart in their expert way, the way I enjoy so much. So why don't we watch this together? I'll have some thoughts as we go, and then I want to know what you think in the comments. But let's jump in.
What is amazing about this as you watch it is the lack of self-awareness here and the sense of proprietary and entitlement. And also as to why things may be sort of effed up in this country.
Yeah.
This is what you get when you have the kind of wealth disparity we have in this country, where you go from a plutonomy to a plutocracy or oligarchy.
This is one thing I'll tell you about the Trump administration, which is totally different. Okay, I was a lifelong Democrat. Okay, I was a mega donor to the Democrats. Like dinner with Obama level donor. Okay, I couldn't get a fucking phone call returned from the White House to save my life. The only thing that happened to me was I made an off-color comment about like something in China, and I had the Biden administration like basically say something, like essentially put out a press release basically saying I was like, mean. That's all I got for millions of dollars. That, you know what I mean? Like,
for being honest.
I mean, I was like, hey man, there's like a lot of problems in America. Like, talk to me about the fentanyl crisis before we talk about everything else. Anyways, the Trump administration is totally different. There's not a single person there you can't get on the phone and talk to. I'll give you an example of this. A friend of mine's company was really impacted with these tariffs in a bad way, okay? This is like a really amazing, legitimate American business, 150-year-old business, family-owned, all this stuff. And I was able to call the deputy chief of staff and I said, hey, can you talk to the CEO and just so here on the ground? He's like instantly put me on the phone. My wife runs a pharmaceutical business, and we wanted to make sure that the administration understood like all the implications for rare diseases and orphan drugs. What happens if these tariffs like cripple the R&D budgets? Because there's 30 million Americans with rare diseases. Rare disease means it's not like diabetes or cancer. Yeah. It's like 200,000 people or less, but there's 30 million of these Americans. 2/3 are kids. And the only companies that work on such small markets are these small biotech companies. And the tariffs create a lot of uncertainty. We were able to talk to all of them. They were like, explain the issue. I want to understand it. So this is what's also totally different, which I really give them a lot of respect. They are willing to debate it with you. You can pick up the phone and talk to these people.
You can.
I've never had that experience, guys. I mean, look, I was like a...
All right, pause it for 1 second. Pause it for 1 second. First off, the reason why you never had to pick up the phone and call the Biden administration to help kids with rare diseases is because the Biden administration didn't do this. The time maybe to have these conversations is before you do it and create a potential economy creating a decision. But that's just sort of secondary.
Yeah.
First off, who are those guys that are sitting on the couches who are not going, hey, wait a second. We accidentally discovered huge amount of corruption in our political system that you get access to the president when you want on demand if you give enough money.
That is Andrew Schultz's podcast, if I'm not mistaken, one of the guys that came out of the Rogan universe. And don't you think it's just fascinating that the extended Joe Rogan universe really involves interviewing billionaires and rich people, and for Rogan, occasionally literally CIA agents and government officials like Republicans? It's almost like they're not really talking about the true conspiracies in our society, which is like folks like this who can get on the call with the president and have the U.S. government bend to a rich guy's wishes. It's almost like they're selling that propaganda to their audience.
He is basically touting this administration because they're for sale. And it's an easy thing to do if you are a billionaire, that apparently you can buy influence and access.
Hey, I just want to jump in here for a second with a perspective check, right? Because I think we hear the word millionaire, we hear the word billionaire, and it all, in my mind, I got a little picture of the Monopoly guy in his top hat and his mustache dancing around. I'm a billionaire. And, I heard another person online breaking it down in a way that really snapped me out of that reverie and put it in perspective for me. Let's say you're a person with $700 million. Okay? You're worth $700 million. Not a billion, just in the really high hundreds of millions. You can't spend that money. Right? The only thing you can do with that money is buy up all of the assets that you don't need and can't use. Because if you have $700 million, let's just say you put it in the market, or you put it in a CD, just in a bank, they wouldn't do this with $700 million. You would put it in a CD that gives you 5% return on it, okay? 5% interest over a year, and you put $700 million in that. The 5% interest on $700 million is $35 million, right? Which is $2.9 million a month if you break it down that way. $2.9 million a month. This is just the interest. Or per week, that's $673,000 per week. So $700 million, you put it in a 5% CD, that would earn you $673,000 a week in interest. Or if you really want to get granular, the interest, the 5% interest on $700 million would be just under $96,000 a day. A day. So what are you going to spend that money on, right? You've got your yachts, you've got your mansions, you've got everything you need. You're going to spend it on political interest. You're going to start a space program. Like, there's just nothing you can do with it. The only thing you can do with that money is buy up other assets. You buy buildings. You buy, companies that buy houses. All the resources that all the rest of us are grinding away to earn money to acquire, right? I want to get a house. I need a car. I need to put gas in the car. I need to go get eggs at the grocery store, right? All of those basic needs are so covered by a billionaire or a 700 millionaire that all the rest of this money just accumulates more wealth. It just becomes this kind of black hole that sucks all the rest of the wealth of the country into it without doing anything. I mean, you're not going to cash it out and bury it underground. You're going to at least put it in the bank, right? You're going to utilize it. But it doesn't do you any material good anymore. It just siphons everything away from all of the rest of us. That's the problem with billionaires. That's why they shouldn't be allowed to exist, because they are financial black holes. Mind-blowing. Anyway, back to the video.
And there he is. And here we go.
How had that experience, guys. I mean, look, I was like a senior person at Facebook, could never get a meeting. I only met Obama once when he came to the thing. Then when I was running an investment fund, successful, I had dinner with Obama, but it was, under the purpose of should I donate to the foundation? I've donated millions of dollars to Democrats. I've never been to the Oval. Okay? But the minute it's like here, it's like, hey, come to the White House, explain these issues now. You get on a plane, you get over there, and they're like, explain it. And then they'll debate it. That's like, it's totally different.
Sorry, devil's advocate. Should being a mega donor, I mean, I guess I get your point of view, but couldn't it also just be like, no, we're not going to be biased just because a person donated money. We're not going to just answer the phone whenever he called.
You think I was
hold on, pause it. There we go.
Hero.
Credit to that guy, devil's advocate. You know what? You're not being the devil's advocate. You're actually being the advocate
for
hundreds of millions of Americans who don't have $1 billion so that they can basically spend as much as like someone would on a used car relative to their, or maybe even less, frankly, at this point, and then buy access and then complain and cry about it.
Right. All right. I take back my my critiques of the podcast if this guy's a part of it.
All these guys, Palpatine is the guy who's saying like we shouldn't bail out the airline industry, but when Silicon Valley Bank needed a bailout,
he was he the guy screaming?
I think Calacanis or Sachs was the guy that was really
really screaming about it.
Because a person donated money, we're not going to just answer the phone whenever he called.
You think I was like, stupid 5 years ago, and all of a sudden tried to like start to build national champions like now?
Yeah.
Dude, man, I've been in the grind for fucking 25 years here, paying my taxes. I fucking paid, more than most people.
Yeah. So irrespective of the donation,
I've been trying to do the right thing.
Yeah.
I wasn't trying to favor myself. It's like, even just to explain, like, here's what's happening on the ground. Do you want to know?
Wow.
Dude, I've been making companies.
I'm on the ground.
Facebook stuff.
I'm on the ground as a billionaire. Now, look, I think that a president should listen to a wide range of people. But if you think he's listening to a wide range of people, if he knows that he has access to Trump because of the money. That's it. He knows it.
He knows it. Right. These were the guys that were on camera. Palpatine was one of them as well, who was bragging about doing pump and dumps with crypto. So
they now say that was they were all joking and being
hilarious joke.
But yeah.
But I'm shocked that they don't have an issue with the administration that clearly just engaged in insider trading with these tariffs, or at the very least allies of the administration. They all want to get in on it. And frankly, this is why like those comments by Ro Khanna about how the Democrats need to get back in bed with Elon Musk, and we have Hakeem Jeffries flying out to Silicon Valley to appease these people. Just cut it off. Enough. Like, this is not something that is helpful for the party, especially as we begin to draw these lines about oligarchy versus anti-oligarchy. This is a silver platter message for the Democrats. The Republicans or the administration, where billionaires get a direct line to the White House and get their bidding done for them. We are the party that doesn't do that. That should be the line drawn in the sand.
Good for Biden. I mean, I imagine there are other billionaires that he was listening to, but
I mean, yeah, Haim Saban and others, but
if the money doesn't automatically get you access,
yep,
yeah,
I'm all in favor of that.
But
that's he's made the Democrats look as,
I just had a dinner that it was like, oof.
But he's like, no, actually, I should be, because what did he say? I make.
Well, then he went on to say. And this is the other problem that we have with people like this. I've been grinding it, man, for 25 years.
Bro.
Yeah.
I nobody knows more than I do.
I got that grind set.
I mean, I think there's value when you are doing something without any pre-planning, like the Trump administration did with their tariffs. It's quite obvious. There was no, they didn't, But part of the thing that I think we see more in a normal administration are like committees that are set up and people debate these things. And we have legislative sessions where people debate these things and bring in experts.
At Facebook, Palpatia led the release of Facebook Beacon, an advertising system which failed and became the subject of lawsuits.
He's been grinding it.
Just grinding really hard. Give me $1 billion and
Dude, you're so dumb. You don't even know what you're talking about.
Yeah, he did get really a little bit defensive there at the end.
And something like social capital. These people are frauds. And I mean, this is the thing. We're talking about how we can like get the American dream back or whatever. We're talking about like, can we control people? Can we control things? No, we should control the money. And too much money has been going into the pockets of people like this because we trust them to invest it wisely, and they don't.
I mean, and this is like, you see how they're whining and bitching because they couldn't get Biden on the line, and because Lena Khan dared to enforce antitrust, and so they couldn't engage in illegal monopolistic practices anymore. I mean, this is why you can't do that strategy of going to them and trying to meet them halfway. We have to break them, take their wealth, break them. There's no other option. The only way out is through, and the Democrats have to embrace breaking up these companies, and they did with Lena Khan, to their credit, but go all the way through. And it's not just anti-monopoly practices. On the legislature side, the Democrats have to get behind clawing back the wealth via taxation, and they've abandoned that fight for like decades.
Well, I mean, to be fair, Warren had a wealth tax proposal when she ran.
Yes.
And it scared the hell out of people this dude.
This moment where the entire world's talking about trade, it would be nice if the conversation could be pivoted to that. Because that's what we need on the global level, a Thomas Piketty style wealth tax. That's what the world needs right now.
All right, play that moment where the guy has the temerity to suggest maybe you shouldn't have all the power because you're a billionaire.
Right. Yeah, I worked at Facebook.
Who's that guy? He's
the co-host. I'm not sure what his name is.
He's the
Akash Singh.
Okay.
So yeah.
Oh, he's the co-host. All right, I love it.
I worked at Facebook in something called social capital.
How dare you?
I've been grinding out here.
How dare you?
Sipping lattes.
Who do you
telling
think
people,
I am, man?
I've been telling engineers to code stuff for 10 years.
I guess I get your point of view, but couldn't it also just be like, no, we're not going to be biased just because a person donated money. We're not going to just answer the phone whenever he calls.
You think I was like, stupid 5 years ago, and all of a sudden tried to like start to build national champions like now?
National champions.
Dude, man, I've been in the grind for fucking 25 years here, paying my taxes. I fucking paid, more than most people.
All right, pause it for 1 second. Okay, so now he's saying he should have access to the White House because he pays more taxes than most people. Do you want to talk about resources? All those U.S. dollars that you got, guess who printed them? The government.
Yeah, thank Obama for that, buddy.
Guess who printed them? The government did. It's not your money.
Building national champions, you're not, Phil Jackson over here. Buddy.
Well, he's saying I'm one of the good ones. I mean, Palpatia had some, like, when I think it was in the Reddit GameStop trading era, right? Like, if I'm not mistaken,
he was like a Robin Hood guy.
Yeah, he was almost on board, and this kind of almost pseudo-populist expression of like, yeah, well, we do this all the time. Like the big guys do this all the time. The GameStop people should get in on it. And so I think he had some people. I mean, there were some fun clips of him going on CNBC and challenging their assumptions. But at the end of the day, even with that faux progressive billionaire, I don't know how rich he is, a very rich guy veneer. At the end of the day, like, this is still what they want. So he's saying, I'm one of the good ones. I saw where they were coming from, but the level of entitlement is still there.
And here's the thing. At the end of the day, I don't care if there's a level of entitlement or not. I don't care if this guy's a jerk or a nice guy.
It shouldn't exist.
We should not have people in our society who have that amount of money because it screws up society. It screws up our political system. It screws up our economy. It just does. God.
That's it.
I just want to see a little more of his like.
I get one more time. Building champions.
The phone whenever he calls.
You think I was like, stupid 5 years ago, and all of a sudden tried to like start to build national champions like now?
Now, see, this is what's also fascinating. It's so hard for him to even understand the concept that Akash is making. He's like, I wasn't dumb then and smart now. I was smart then too. And Akash is just saying like, yeah, but I mean, if he could follow up, but of course he seemed like, I just got chastened by this guy. Maybe there are other smart people in the world that the only reason why, and understand, the only reason why that phone was answered was because of your money.
Mm-hmm.
And
it wasn't because of what you did at Facebook.
But old Chomsky writes in, and they figured it out. Palpatia owns the Golden State Warriors, so he's on the ground building national champions. He's a minority owner of the Golden State Warriors, which is basically an investment in professional sports because the valuation of these teams keeps exploding year after year. So, you were on the ground with Kerr and with Steph Curry and with Draymond Green. You put in, it's like, sorry to get into sports, but Jerry Jones was saying they're negotiating a contract with their player, Micah Parsons. We don't need an agent. It's just the agent isn't on the field. I'm the team owner and the player. It should just be a negotiation between the two of us. No, you're the bag man. Same with you. You guys have nothing to do with the labor of these people on sports teams. Anyway,
I know the owner of one of the owners of the Celtics. And I went to college with him, and I'll say, not the most impressive.
I would like to shout out Alex Skopik, who is a great writer over at Current Affairs, has a new piece out today. China knows how to deal with its billionaires. In the United States, wealthy individuals like Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos are allowed to dominate the country's politics and economy, but there is another way.
All right, should we watch the end of that or no?
That was it.
That was the end.
Okay.
I know you wanted more, but
I did want more. How dare you, sir?
Making champions and,
I'm out here making a champion. You know how this impacts all my merch sales? These tariffs? Also, my wife. So we've surveyed the whole realm of how this is impacting on Americans because I also put my wife on the phone. Who does pharmaceuticals?
Yeah.
Now, I wonder if he defended all the other industries that are getting, or is he just you could just carve out for pharmaceuticals, or you could
Imagine how many phone calls you would have to take to sort out all the messes they've caused. If just in that guy's life, it's caused so many.
Right.
He has to get on the phone with them.
I think it's fascinating. We're talking about a handful of people and families in this country that command, I was going to say oceans of wealth, but it really is, they are economic black hole sized quantities of wealth. They're just people. I'm not saying that this guy isn't competent or smart or doesn't deserve financial success, right? I'm not advocating for communism where everybody has the same thing. I think we're a capitalism, and it should, our system uses that as an engine for innovation, and I think there should be thriving competition. I think we should apply our antitrust laws to break up these big monopolies. And I think we should put some sort of cap, however we decide to do that, whether it's taxing wealth or literally creating some sort of a limit on individual wealth. I mean, you can say, well, $1 million isn't what it used to be, and it's not. But what about 100 million? What about if a person's wealth gets to $100 million, then they're taxed at 99% or something like that beyond that? I don't know. I don't know what the answers are. I feel like it's got to be relatively straightforward math. But allowing somebody to personally control $1 billion, I say space program. Literally, Elon Musk has a space program. Jeff Bezos has a space program, and he sends the actor who played Captain Kirk, his wife or his fiance, I don't know what their status is, Katy Perry, into space. Because there's nothing else to do with that much money. There's just nothing else to do with it. I mean, it's broken on its face. Well, that's how I feel about it. You let me know how you feel about it in the comments.